want me to Rachael Ray it up?
Totally.
Oh, okay.
I have to talk like that.
No, I really don't want to hurt myself. Okay, welcome to Cooking with Randix. And today we're making fettuccine alfredo. As you can see, fettuccine alfredo a la Randix. 1 pound of pasta, half a pound of grated Parmesan, half a pound of butter, and a cup of milk. Absolutely never margarine. Margarine in this recipe does not work. It gets all oily and like floats to the top and it doesn't mix with the cheese. Don't do it. It's a really simple process. We're going to use 3 sticks of butter because we're going to make a recipe and a half tonight. So it's actually going to be 1.5 pounds of pasta, 3/4 of a pound of cheese, and 3/4 of a pound of butter, and a 1.5 cups of milk. The milk you may need to adjust by as much as 2 or 3 tablespoons, just depending on how creamy you like your sauce or if you want it to really stick to your pasta. The one thing that I will say is we're going to boil the pasta in this pot and then use the same hot pot to make the sauce so that we can make the sauce right on the pasta. But because the pot will already be hot, it'll melt the butter and cheese much more quickly than if we were to make the sauce in its own pot separately and ladle it over the top. Yeah, almost like macaroni and cheese, only we don't have to bake it after we mix the sauce in with the pasta. For right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to butter up some of this garlic bread. And if I could figure out where I set down the garlic salt, I would be a much happier person. Garlic little salt. Green and on the table. Ah, but I want garlic salt. Besides, it has parsley in it, and he wanted to buy the pre-made frozen garlic bread. This ain't no semi-homemade with Sandra Lee. I'm making a full-on, fresh-made, real garlic bread.
Semi-homemade?
Semi-homemade with Sandra Lee.
Semi-homemade?
Pretty much, yeah. But anyway, hi, welcome back. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the 5-minute thin spaghetti into the water. As you can see, it's not quite boiling yet, but we've got a lot of bubbles on the bottom, and putting the pasta in is going to cool it right back down again anyway, just because we're putting a cool solid into a hot liquid. So, just to, you know, not worry about defying physics, or it could burn my hand, we're going to go ahead and put all this in there now, especially because we're doing this double batch. This is 24 ounces of pasta, that's 1.5 pounds. We're also apparently supporting the Susan G. Komen for the Cure Foundation. I don't know why. I mean, obviously it's not that I have a problem with breast cancer, I just don't know why it's in my pasta. So, right, pasta in the water. And normally I would tell you always be sure and double check the cook time on the back of your pasta, but since it says right here 5 minutes thin spaghetti, I'm going to go ahead and guess that the cook time is approximately 5. And the oven should be preheated, so we're going to go ahead and sprinkle our garlic.
And what temperature should they use?
It should be at 450. We're doing it at 425 because I understand that this oven smokes. 450 is ideal.
We're putting it on Petrades.
So,
Price is funny.
you want to make sure that you get a good chunk of garlic on each piece.
Small spoon.
I hope you people like garlic because I've done this a little excessively. You could probably go a little lighter, but I love this garlic. Especially because it's garlic salt. Salt, garlic, sugar, parsley, garlic oil, and carrot oil for color. Okay. So our pasta is doing its little pasta-y thing. We're just going to give it a quick stir. It's always best to, once your pasta starts, you know, coming back up to a bubble, to sort of help it along in the boiling process. Yes, you're stirring some cool air into the water there, but by freeing up the pasta to sort of move around the pot as it sees fit, it's going to cook more evenly and it's not going to stick together as bad. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this garlic bread into the 425-degree oven. Okay. Our pasta's ready. As you can see, it's doubled in volume. That's why we needed the larger pot. I mean, can you see this massive spaghetti fitting in that tiny little pot we had before? No. So, as you can see, this was a great investment to have a really good pasta pot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and strain the pasta. Now, if you were making a cold pasta salad, or if, for example, you wanted to, you know, eat your pasta and just put cold tomato sauce out the fridge on it, ketchup, butter, anything of that nature. You'd want to run some cold water over it to stop the cooking process and make it stay where it is so it doesn't get any softer. But we're not going to do that because we want it to stay hot. I've cooked it a little harder than al dente, like it's not quite done yet, because we're going to put it back into the hot sauce and it's going to cook some more. We're going to put in our butter first, and remember we're making a 1.5 times recipe tonight, so we're going to use 3 sticks of butter. That's 3/4 of a pound. Again, the recipe is on the fridge. Okay, so our butter's starting to melt. This is much easier done on a stove that's actually level. Your stove leans that way. Okay, you can buy a wedge of Parmesan and shred your own if you're picky about brand, or you feel like fresh cheese, like the little wedges of fresh, tastes better. I'm lazy. I'm a semi-homemade on the cheese, mostly because it takes so long to shred it that you don't have time to properly attend to your garlic bread. The one thing I will say is that if you do buy these pre-shredded cheeses, don't waste a lot of time and money trying to figure out which brand is going to taste the best. If you're going to go for the Ziploc bag of cheese, go for cheap, don't go for quality. The whole point is to just get the cheese in the sauce. You can always salt, pepper, and garlic your sauce to your heart's content. Thank you. Now you're going to want to keep a pretty consistent stir. This was not melting the way I wanted it to at 2, so I've turned it back up to 4. Keep a real close eye on dairy products on the stove though, because if you scald them, there's no getting it back. Come check this out. This is looking great. It should look kind of like cream cheese, like that sort of thickness. Nice and melty.
Looks like kind of watery malto meal.
I was actually thinking like potato soup, cream of potato soup. When the cheese is kind of melted into the butter and the milk, and it's one thing, there's not like a blob of cheese that you're moving around as you stir, then it's ready for the pasta. So, and I turned it back down all the way to 2.5 after I got the cheese pretty good and melty. We're going to leave the heat on. We're going to pour back in our noodles. We are going to shift back in our noodles. That wasn't so much a pour as a shove, but you get the general idea. So you're going to want to push the pasta through the sauce so that it gets evenly coated throughout, and so that that cheese that's not quite melted yet can really stick to the pasta instead of just being a loose white sauce at the bottom of the pan. Okay guys, we have absolutely fabulous Alfredo pasta ready to eat.
No, maybe we should put
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Let's eat it. And we'll give you some utensils.
That's how you do garlic bread. I'm just saying. I mean, that's some fine looking garlic bread, I must say. Think? Do I win?
You win.
Do I pass?
You pass.
Okay. Actually preheated. I just turned it, instead of bake, I just put it to...
That's okay, we'll edit that part out.
Okay, so we're not going to put that in yet.